The glow of my laptop screen illuminates my face in the darkness of my apartment, casting harsh shadows across the walls. I stare at the banking app, my finger hovering over the refresh button. Some irrational part of me believes if I try one more time, the numbers will change. I tap refresh. The screen flickers, then stabilizes. $0 available balance. My hands begin to shake, the tremor starting at my fingertips and radiating up my arms. The photo on my desk catches my eye: my parents, my brother Jason, and me at his business launch party 6 months ago. We're all smiling. My father's arm is around my shoulder, my mother beaming with pride. At Jason, of course. Always at Jason. $180,000, I whisper into the empty room. Gone. I reach for my phone with unsteady fingers, punching in the number for customer service. The line connects, and classical music flows through the speaker. Vivaldi, I think. Appropriate for being put on hold while your life savings vanish. While I wait, memories of the past 12 years flood my mind. Brown paper lunch bags carefully packed each morning. Weekends spent at home while colleagues jetted off to Cancun or Miami. The basic IKEA furniture that surrounds me, functional but never quite what I really wanted. 12 years of careful planning, of disciplined saving, of telling myself that security matters more than momentary pleasure. All for this moment, to see $0 where my future should be. 2 minutes later. Thank you for your patience, Miss Parker. How can I help you today? The representative's voice is professionally pleasant. My account, I say, struggling to keep my voice steady. There's nothing in it. There should be $180,000. Keyboard clicks fill the silence. I see the issue, Miss Parker. There was a transfer made 3 days ago to an external account under the name Parker Family Investments, LLC. It appears the transfer was authorized through your online banking credentials. The room tilts slightly. Parker Family Investments? I didn't authorize any transfer. The transfer originated from your IP address, Miss Parker, using your security questions and password. My mind races, connections forming like lightning. Parker Family Investments, my father's new venture with Jason, the one they've been so secretive about, the one they never quite explained when I asked. I need to report this as fraudulent. I say, my accountant's brain taking over where emotions fail me. After finishing the call, I turn back to my laptop. Something isn't right. The machine has been sluggish lately, taking too long to start up, running hot when I'm only using basic programs. I open the task manager, scanning the list of running processes. There, a program I don't recognize buried in the system files. With my limited tech knowledge, I managed to isolate it. Spyware, keylogging software, recording every password, every account number, every security question. I close my eyes, remembering last month's Sunday dinner at my parents' house, how my father asked to check sports scores on my laptop while I helped Mom in the kitchen. How Jason kept me distracted with stories about his new business venture. How the laptop was closed when I returned, though I could have sworn I'd left it open. My phone chimes with a text message. Jason. Hey sis, thanks for all your support. Dad says you're a lifesaver. The words blur as tears finally form. Not tears of sadness, but of a pure, burning rage I've never allowed myself to feel before. The kind of rage that comes with realization. With betrayals so complete, it rewrites your past. The phone rings. Mom's weekly check-in, right on schedule. I take a deep breath and answer, keeping my voice carefully neutral. Hi, Mom. Elena, sweetheart. How's my favorite accountant? Her voice carries that familiar sing-song quality she uses when she's particularly pleased about something. I let her talk, listening as she rambles about Jason's business progress, about Dad's golf game, about the new curtains in the living room. I make appropriate noises at appropriate moments. Your father says we should all plan a trip to Europe this summer. She says, excitement bubbling in her voice. Jason's business is really taking off. Wouldn't that be wonderful, the whole family together? Sounds nice, I manage. Speaking of family finances, how's Dad's retirement portfolio doing? He mentioned some concerns last time we spoke. A slight pause. Oh, you know your father. Always worried about money even when there's no need. Everything's fine, dear. Better than fine. And Jason's business? The startup costs must have been significant. Another pause, longer this time. Well, you know how these things work. Initial investments and all that. But it's all coming together beautifully. The conversation winds down with her familiar refrain. Family always comes first, sweetheart. Remember that. I hang up, my heart pounding against my ribs. I dial another number immediately. Maya? It's me. I need your help. Maya, my college roommate, now a successful cybersecurity expert while I followed the safe, steady path. Elena, what's wrong? You sound terrible. Maya's voice, sharp with concern, cuts through my numbness. I explain the situation in clipped, professional terms, as if it were happening to someone else. As if my own family hadn't just stolen my life savings. Don't confront them yet, Maya says when I finish. Let me help you gather evidence. If this is what we think it is, we need to be smart about this. They took everything, I whisper, the professional facade cracking. Not everything, Maya corrects me firmly. They don't know about your backup plan. I almost smile at that. 2 months ago, something felt off about my family's sudden interest in my finances. Questions about my accounts, about my savings habits. Nothing obvious, nothing alarming on its own, but enough that I created a decoy account, transferring most of my actual savings to a different bank entirely. The screen of my laptop glows as I log into that separate account. The numbers appear. $180,000. Safe. The missing money is actually sitting in the decoy account I created, waiting to spring the trap. My parents and brothers stole their own dirty money, thinking it was mine. For the first time since seeing that $0, I feel a genuine smile form. They raised me to be responsible with money, I say to Maya, a cold certainty settling in my chest. How ironic that's exactly what will bring them down. The next day, Maya's home office gleams with technology. 3 wide monitors curve across her desk like a command center, the blue glow reflecting off glass shelves lined with industry awards. It's a stark contrast to my apartment with its secondhand furniture and blank walls. There. Maya points to lines of code scrolling across her left screen. This isn't amateur hour spyware. Someone paid good money for this. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, each tap punctuated with quiet fury. It's been recording every keystroke for at least 2 months. I watch, stomach clenching, as she pulls up a folder labeled with my name. Inside sit neatly organized files, bank passwords, TXT, tax records, PDF, personal accounts, time Excels. This isn't just theft, Elena. Maya swivels to face me, her expression hardening. This is identity fraud, and they've been planning it for months. The words land like blows. I'd told myself this was desperation, a family emergency I hadn't been told about. But the dated files tell a different story. August, July, May. Can you trace where the data went? My voice sounds hollow, even to me. Already did. She pulls up another screen showing email logs. Everything forwarded to this account. She taps the address on screen, rparkerfinancial@mail.com. Dad. My father, who taught me to balance my first checkbook at 12, who lectured me about financial responsibility while secretly rifling through my accounts. Maya pulls up more records, her expertise slicing through firewalls and password protections with surgical precision. The picture emerging turns my blood to ice water. Credit inquiries in your name dating back 2 years, she says, scrolling through a report. Small transfers 500 here, 1,200 there probably, testing if you'd notice. Each discovery piles onto the last. Business loans using my pristine credit score as collateral. Mortgage applications. A shell company registered with my social security number. Maya, I whisper, this is. Words fail me. Criminal, she finishes. Your brother's startup? It's funded entirely through accounts opened in your name. I press my palm against my sternum, trying to push back the pressure building there. They weren't just stealing my money. They were stealing my future. Let me see their messages, I say, surprising myself with the steadiness in my voice. Maya hesitates. You sure? It might be. Show me. She accesses my father's cloud backup, a trick she doesn't explain and I don't question, and pulls up a group text. Dad, Mom, Jason, a conversation I was never part of. The 3rd of October. Jason texting. Elena won't notice. She's too busy counting pennies to see dollars. The 3rd of October. Dad responding. She owes us this much. We gave her life after all. The 4th of October. Mom's practical concern. Just make sure she doesn't find out until it's too late to do anything. The phone slips from my fingers, clattering on Maya's glass desk. All those Sunday dinners. All those calls asking about my work schedule, my vacation plans. All those casual questions about my financial advisors. They were coordinating, planning, hunting. Elena? Maya's voice softens. There's someone I think you should meet. Benjamin arrives an hour later. Silver-haired and barrel-chested, he moves with the deliberate confidence of someone who's seen it all. His handshake is firm, his eyes kind but evaluating. Former FBI financial crimes specialist, Maya explains, now runs his own consulting firm. Benjamin spreads printouts across Maya's dining table. My dining table would be too small, I think irrelevantly. This is an amateur hour, he says, echoing Maya's earlier assessment. The pattern suggests your family has done this before. His words confirm what I've been avoiding. This isn't a mistake or momentary weakness. This is who they are. My phone buzzes for the 20th time today. Dad again. I show Benjamin the notification screen with its cascade of missed calls and messages. Dad voicemail. Elena, this is ridiculous. Call us back immediately. Jason text. Hey, the bank called Dad about some transfers. Everything okay with you? Mom message. Sweetie, we're worried sick. Please call. Family needs to stick together now. Benjamin's expression never changes as he listens. They'll try to make you feel guilty, he says. Remember, you're the victim here. For 3 hours, we build a case. Every fraudulent account, every forged signature, every dollar siphoned from my future to fund theirs. Maya sets up a secure cloud folder with backup recordings of everything. Benjamin outlines a strategy for the inevitable confrontation. Don't engage until you're ready, he advises. When you do, record everything. I nod, mentally rehearsing what I'll say when I finally face them. The accountant in me finds comfort in the evidence black and white proof that doesn't require emotional interpretation. The sun has set by the time we finish. Maya outfits my phone with additional security and shows me how to activate recording functions with a single tap. At home, I select my most intimidating work outfit, the charcoal suit I wear to major client presentations. I lay it across my bed, a uniform for the battle ahead. My phone chimes with new messages from all 3 of them, escalating in urgency. I compose a single reply to our family group chat. We need to talk. I'll be at your house tomorrow at noon. The responses flood in immediately. Mom, thank goodness we've been so worried. Dad, smart decision, Elena. See you then. Jason, great. Dad says he can explain everything. Just keep an open mind. I turn off notifications and open my closet, pulling out the dusty photo album from the top shelf. Cross-legged on my bed, I flip through images of birthdays, graduations, family vacations. Searching for clues I might have missed, warning signs I ignored. In every photo, we look like a normal, happy family. Mom's arm around my shoulder, Dad ruffling Jason's hair, all of us smiling at some shared joke. I close the album, a heaviness settling over me that has nothing to do with fatigue. Tomorrow, I whisper to the empty room, I'll find out if I ever really had a family at all. The next day, the mansion looms ahead, a sprawling testament to the Parker family success story. 4 bedrooms, manicured lawn, ornamental shrubs trimmed with military precision. My 12-year-old Honda looks like a servant's car next to Jason's gleaming BMW in the circular driveway. I turn off the engine and sit, watching sprinklers arc perfect rainbows across grass that's somehow greener than any lawn has a right to be in Houston's summer heat. My apartment building's communal patch went brown weeks ago. Funny how money solves even nature's limitations. Water bill must be astronomical, I murmur, then laugh at myself. Accountant to the end. The front door sports a fresh coat of burgundy paint. Last month it was white. The walkway has been redone in stamped concrete that mimics cobblestones. 3 weeks ago, my mother complained about needing to tighten their belts. My money, my stolen future bought that door, that walkway, that BMW. I press my hand against my purse where the recording device sits, checking for the 10th time that it's secure. Maya's voice echoes in my head. Don't give anything away, let them hang themselves. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. The breathing technique Benjamin taught me. I step out of the car and walk toward my childhood home with measured steps, spine straight, chin level. The doorbell plays its familiar Westminster chime. Dad opens the door with practiced timing, his face arranged in an expression of concerned authority. Elena, sweetheart. His voice carries just the right note of paternal worry. We've been so concerned. Behind him, Mom rushes forward, arms outstretched. Oh, honey! I sidestep her embrace with a slight pivot of my shoulders. The hurt flashes across her face before she can mask it. Let's talk inside, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. Jason lounges against the archway leading to the kitchen, feigning casualness, but his eyes track my movements like a hawk watching prey. He wears a new watch Rolex, if I'm not mistaken. Another piece of my future strapped to his wrist. Hey sis. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Glad you finally called back. They usher me into the formal living room, the one reserved for important guests and serious conversations. The blue sofa still has plastic underneath the cushions, though they've owned it for 15 years. Some habits of frugality remain, apparently, even as they spend my money freely. Mom bustles in with a silver tray bearing coffee and her homemade chocolate chip cookies. The scene is so achingly normal that for one heartbeat I question everything. Could this all be a terrible misunderstanding? Then I notice Dad checking his watch, planning how long this performance needs to last. There's been a misunderstanding with the accounts, Elena, he begins, settling into his armchair, the one no one else is allowed to sit in. His voice carries the same tone he used when explaining why I couldn't attend space camp while Jason went to baseball camp. Mom jumps in before I can respond. We were going to surprise you. It's a family investment opportunity. Her fingers twist the pearl necklace I gave her last Christmas. A necklace I saved 6 months to afford. My business is taking off, Jason adds, leaning forward with practiced enthusiasm. We were going to triple your money. Dad worked out all the projections. They talk over each other yet somehow tell a coherent story. The practiced way they emphasize different points reveals how many times they've rehearsed this. I remain silent, watching them build their alibi, listening as they explain away theft as a gift. When they finish, expectant smiles plastered on their faces, I open my laptop and turn the screen toward them. The spreadsheet I've created displays everything. Spyware installation dates, fraudulent accounts, transfer records, facts in orderly columns and rows. Numbers don't lie, even when family does. Dad's expression shifts from concern to calculation in an instant. The mask slipping to reveal the mathematician beneath, already figuring out the next move. Mom glances at him nervously. Her hand stops twisting her necklace, frozen in mid-fidget. Jason looks genuinely confused. Dad, what is she talking about? You said she agreed to this. The revelation hits me like a physical blow. Jason wasn't the mastermind, he was another pawn. Dad's favorite pawn, but a pawn nonetheless. Dad's mask cracks. The concerned father vanishes, replaced by a coldly pragmatic stranger wearing my father's face. That money was for the family, Elena. Jason's future depends on it. Be proud you could help. His tone suggests I should feel honored to have been robbed. Mom stands, smoothing non-existent wrinkles from her slacks. We raised you, paid for your education. Everything you have is because of us. Come on, sis, Jason adds, rolling his eyes. It's not like you were doing anything with that money except watching it sit there. The room grows hot, then cold. Blood rushes in my ears. So you admit to identity theft, fraud, and computer crimes? My voice sounds foreign to my ears, steady and professional. Dad rises, using his height to tower over me. No one will believe you over us. We're respected in this community. Mom's eyes fill with tears right on cue. How could you do this to your family? After all, we've sacrificed for you. Jason moves to my side, placing his hand on my shoulder. I would have done the same for you if you ever had a dream worth pursuing. Their coordinated psychological pressure reminds me of synchronized swimmers, each movement timed to complement the others. I wonder how many times they've done this dance before. How many others have faced this united front? For one moment, doubt creeps in. Standing against them feels like standing against gravity itself. I press the button on my phone, sending the recording to Maya in real time. The recording has been active since I walked in. Everything you've said has been documented. Their faces freeze in various stages of manipulation. You stole your own dirty money, I continue, a smile forming despite myself. The real $180,000 is safe. I moved it months ago when things started feeling off. The front door opens, and Benjamin steps in, his grandfatherly appearance belying the sharp intelligence in his eyes. Miss Parker, everything okay in here? Former FBI financial crimes specialist, I explained to my stunned family. Benjamin, these are the Parkers. Mom turns on Dad, her tearful facade transformed into genuine rage. You promised she would never find out. You said it was foolproof. Dad, fix this. Jason's panic breaks through his cool facade. You said we couldn't get caught. Dad steps toward me, fists clenched. Benjamin moves between us with surprising speed for his age. I wouldn't do that, Mr. Parker. His voice is gentle but carries unmistakable authority. I gather my laptop and stand. For years, I hunched my shoulders in this room, making myself smaller in the face of their disapproval. Now I stand at my full height. For years, I believed family meant unconditional love. Now I see it was just unconditional taking. Dad's face hardens. Name your price. Everyone has a price. I walk toward the door, each step lighter than the last. Mine is justice. You'll be hearing from the FBI tomorrow. I don't look back as I leave. Some things aren't worth a second glance. The next day, the FBI building stands like a monolith against the morning sky, all glass, steel, and authority. Benjamin parks his sedan in the visitor's lot, turns to me with steady eyes. Ready? I smooth invisible wrinkles from my charcoal pencil skirt. As I'll ever be. The lobby echoes with footsteps across polished floors. How different from the warm cherry hardwood my father installed in our family home, the one paid for with other people's trust. Security guards wave metal detecting wands over us, and I wonder if they can detect the anger humming beneath my skin. Benjamin guides me through a maze of hallways to a conference room where Agent Sarah Donovan waits. She rises when we enter mid-40s, hair pulled back so severely it seems to stretch her eyes. No makeup, no jewelry, except a simple watch. Nothing to distract from her purpose. Miss Parker. Her handshake is firm, efficient. I appreciate your coming in. Elena, please. Elena. She nods once, gestures to the chair across from her. Benjamin says you have quite the paper trail. I unzip my portfolio, remove the documents I've arranged chronologically. 12 years of saving, 6 months of stealing. All documented with the precision of a woman who has built her life around the reliability of numbers. The spyware was installed during a family dinner on the 17th of March. I begin, voice steady as I slide the first page toward her. You can see the keylogging software began capturing my passwords that same evening. For the next hour, I walk Agent Donovan through my evidence. Bank statements, transfer records, screenshots of text messages between my family members discussing their plans, the timeline of my discovery, the recording from the confrontation. She takes notes in tight, controlled handwriting, occasionally asking questions that cut to the heart of the matter. And you believe they've done this before? I know they have. The certainty in my voice surprises even me. The level of coordination was too practiced. The LLC existed before they targeted me. Agent Donovan studies me over the rim of her glasses. Most people who discover family fraud fall apart in this room. You're methodical, like you're presenting a quarterly report. Numbers don't lie, people do. I square the edges of my papers. I've compartmentalized. She taps her pen against her notepad. That works until it doesn't. Benjamin shifts beside me. Sarah, the evidence speaks for itself. It does. She clicks her pen closed with finality. This is one of the most well-documented cases I've seen from a civilian. Most victims bring in scattered bank statements and tearful stories. You've given me a roadmap for prosecution. A strange pride blooms under my ribs, bitter as coffee grounds. What happens now, I ask. We investigate further. She stands, signaling our meeting's end. Based on what we already see, there are likely other victims. The words hit like a physical blow. Other victims? Beyond me? Financial predators rarely stop at one, she explains, gathering my documents into a folder. Especially family-based fraud rings. They typically target relatives with good credit and substantial savings. The fact that you caught them suggests they've been successful before. My stomach twists. My family has a fraud ring? Let me be clear, Agent Donovan says, leaning forward slightly. Your father and mother's account activity shows transfers to and from at least 7 other individuals over the past decade. All family names. Your brother's business isn't a business at all, it's a shell company laundering funds from multiple sources. Benjamin places a steadying hand on my shoulder. I hadn't realized I was swaying. They weren't just stealing from me, I whisper. This was their retirement plan. A family tradition, Agent Donovan says, not unkindly. One you've now broken. As we leave the sterile government building, my phone buzzes in my purse, then again and again, a cascade of notifications lighting up the screen like Christmas. Mom, Elena Marie, we need to talk right now. This misunderstanding has gone too far. Dad, the FBI showed up at my office. Is this what you want? To destroy your family? Jason, WTF sis, Dad's freaking out. What did you do? Unknown. This is Aunt Carol. How could you do this to your parents after everything they've done for you? I show the phone to Benjamin, who grimaces. It begins, he says, the pressure campaign. Will it work? I ask, surprised by the tremor in my voice. That depends on you. My phone buzzes again with a text from my mother's closest friend. They're your parents. You can't do this. I turn the phone face down on my lap as I sit in the car. Through the windshield, I watch a flock of starlings wheel across the sky, moving as one entity, changing direction in perfect unison. Like my family, I think. Each member knowing their role in the greater deception without needing to discuss it. Unlike those birds, I've broken formation, and now the sky feels too vast, too open. Let's get lunch, Benjamin suggests gently. Maya's meeting us at that cafe near your apartment, the one with the good soup. I nod, grateful for this simple kindness. For the first time since discovering the theft, I let myself acknowledge the truth. I am alone in the world in a way I never expected to be. But as Benjamin navigates through midday traffic, I realize that's not entirely true. Maya waits for us at the cafe. My boss offered flexible hours for the legal proceedings. The barista at my regular coffee shop asked why I looked tired this morning, genuine concern in her eyes. Maybe family isn't what I thought it was. Maybe it's what you build after the one you were born into reveals itself as a mirage. At the present, the courthouse corridor stretches before me, cold marble beneath sensible heels I bought specifically for this day. 6 months have passed since I discovered the betrayal. 6 months of depositions, evidence reviews, and nights spent staring at my ceiling, wondering how I never saw the truth. I run my fingers through my newly shortened hair, a practical bob that frames my face and requires minimal maintenance. The haircut was an impulse, something tangible I could control when everything else felt beyond my grasp. All rise. The courtroom falls silent as my parents shuffle in, the orange jumpsuits hanging loose on their frames. Dad's shoulders, once broad and commanding, now curve inward. Mom's carefully maintained highlights have grown out, revealing steel gray at the roots. They don't look like master manipulators capable of orchestrating elaborate fraud. They look old and diminished. For a flickering moment, I feel a daughter's instinct to protect them. The feeling vanishes when Dad's eyes meet mine, calculating even now, assessing what advantage might still be gained. The state versus Richard and Linda Parker, the bailiff announces. The judge, a woman with silver-streaked hair and piercing blue eyes, reviews the case notes. Before sentencing, the victim has prepared a statement. I rise, smoothing the charcoal pencil skirt I wore to my last promotion interview. Maya squeezes my hand as I walk forward, the weight of the courtroom pressing against my skin. My name is Elena Parker, I begin, my voice steadier than I expected. The financial loss I suffered can be calculated down to the penny $180,000. What cannot be calculated is the cost of discovering that the people who were supposed to protect me saw me only as a resource to be drained. Mom flinches. Dad's face remains impassive. I'm not here to ask for vengeance. I'm here because accountability matters. Trust matters. I turned directly to face them. You taught me the value of both, though not in the way you intended. After the sentencing, 7 years for Dad, 5 for Mommy stand on the courthouse steps breathing in air that feels somehow cleaner than before. The weight hasn't lifted entirely, but it's shifted, becoming something I can carry. Elena. Jason approaches cautiously, hands jammed in his pockets like when we were kids, and he'd broken something of mine. The designer clothes are gone, replaced by a department store button-down and slacks that actually fit. I know you probably don't want to talk to me, he says. Then why are you here? The words come out sharper than intended. He winces. I didn't know how bad it was. Dad compartmentalized everything, told me you had agreed. He kicks at an invisible spot on the concrete. I should have asked you directly. Yes, you should have. Jason nods, accepting the rebuke. I sold the BMW, got a job at an accounting firm downtown. Entry, level, but honest work. Something shifts in my chest, not forgiveness exactly, but recognition. I need time, Jason. Trust isn't rebuilt in a conversation. I know. He hands me a business card. When you're ready, if you're ever ready. I slip the card into my pocket without looking at it. Some doors are worth leaving slightly ajar. 2 hours later, the San Antonio apartment glows with afternoon light as the real estate agent points out crown molding and hardwood floors. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, and most importantly, a security system with cameras and remote monitoring. The previous owners upgraded the locks to smart locks, she explains, demonstrating the keypad. You can control everything from your phone. I smile. 6 months ago, this feature would have meant nothing. Now it represents something precious, control. I'll take it, I say, the decision settling in my bones like certainty. That weekend, Maya helps me unpack. Unlike my old apartment with its practical IKEA furniture arranged for maximum efficiency, this place takes shape around joy rather than function. A reading nook by the bay window. A kitchen with actual matching dishes instead of practical plastic. A second bedroom converted to a home office with space for the forensic accounting textbooks I've been studying. This place suits you, Maya says, hanging a framed photograph of the two of us at college graduation, faces bright with possibility. I place my hand against the wall, feeling the solidity of plaster and wood. It's the first place that's truly mine, not a stopgap or a practical decision. Later that evening, after Maya leaves, I stand in the center of my living room. The furniture arrangements still feel new, the corners unfamiliar. But underneath the newness lies something I've been chasing my entire life without knowing it. Home. Not the kind built on blood connections or false foundations. The kind built on choice, on truth, on the radical act of saying, this is mine, and I decide who enters. I open the windows, letting in the sounds of my new neighborhood children playing, someone practicing guitar, a dog barking in the distance. The ordinary symphony of lives unfolding around me, none of them owing me anything, none of them expecting anything in return. For the first time in 6 months I cry. Not from grief or rage, but from a deeper wellspring, the quiet recognition that I am, at last, exactly where I belong. Year later, the April sunshine warms my face as I kneel in the rich soil of the community garden, transplanting seedlings with careful fingers. Birdsong punctuates the morning quiet, while elderly volunteers chat several rows over, their laughter carrying on the spring breeze. I sit back on my heels, wiping a smudge of dirt from my forehead with the back of my wrist. Those tomatoes look promising, Elena, calls Margaret, a silver-haired retired teacher who's become a Saturday morning constant in my life. You've got the touch. I smile, feeling the expression reach my eyes without effort. That easy smile still surprises me, sometimes a physical reminder of how far I've traveled in 12 months. My phone buzzes in the pocket of my denim overalls. I pull it out, still marveling at the simple pleasure of checking messages without that old knot of dread tightening my stomach. An email notification, congratulations on completing your master's in forensic accounting. Heat pricks behind my eyes, not the burning tears from that night a year ago, but something cleaner. Pride, maybe. I swipe to another message, Maya, confirming our weekend hiking plans at Enchanted Rock. The phone feels light in my hand. Everything feels lighter now. Walking home, I take the long route through the neighborhood. My stride is different, shoulders back, chin up, eyes forward. No more hunching as if waiting for the next blow. The physical therapist I started seeing 3 months ago says my posture tells the story of my healing better than words ever could. My apartment welcomes me with warm afternoon light filtering through curtains I chose simply because their turquoise pattern made me happy. No more beige walls and minimalist furnishings. This space announces itself as mine, with every carefully selected object. Bookshelves line the living room wall, forensic accounting textbooks beside dog-eared novels and spiral-bound journals. My victory wall holds my freshly minted degree certificate, last month's promotion letter, and handwritten notes from seniors at the financial literacy workshops I lead. A single framed photograph sits on my desk, Jason and me, at the opening of his legitimate landscaping business 2 months ago. His arm rests tentatively around my shoulders, his smile cautious but real. We're works in progress, he and I. Some weeks we manage a phone call, others just a text. It's something. The afternoon mail brings a letter, me mother's handwriting on the envelope. This time, I don't freeze at the sight of it. I make tea first, Earl Grey with a splash of milk, and take it to the balcony where my container garden flourishes in the spring warmth. The letter is different from her earlier desperate pleas and blame-shifting rants. She writes of therapy sessions in prison, of realizations that come 20 years too late. I read without my heart racing, without my hands shaking. When I finish, I fold it carefully and slip it into a drawer not hidden away, just filed. My response will be measured basic life updates, firm boundaries. Forgiveness doesn't require forgetting or reuniting. This is something my therapist and I have worked through for months, untangling the barbed knot of family obligation from the clean thread of self-preservation. Later that evening, I review my presentation for tomorrow's financial security conference. My story now serves as both warning and guidance, woven through practical advice about detecting and preventing family financial abuse. Last month's session brought 5 elderly attendees to me afterward, each with tearful confessions of children or grandchildren borrowing from their accounts. The publishing company's business card sits on my desk. Their offer to turn my experience into a book still feels surreal. Your story could help thousands, the representative said. People need to hear this from someone who's been there. That weekend, I drive through my parents' old Houston neighborhood. The house is gone sold to pay restitution to their victims. The new owners have painted the door red and planted wildflowers where my mother's formal roses once stood. Mrs. Hernandez, still tending her garden next door at 82, waves me over. Such a shock about your parents, she says, hands twisting in her apron. We never suspected a thing. Family dynamics are complicated, I reply, the words coming easily now. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones we see least clearly. Driving away, I feel no regret, no nostalgia, just acknowledgement of a past that shaped but doesn't define me. That evening, a small gathering fills my dining room. Maya, Benjamin, coworkers who became friends, seniors from my workshops. We celebrate my first published article in Financial Safeguard Monthly. Jason arrives late, bringing homemade salsa and awkward goodwill. Maya raises her glass. To Elena, who taught us all that standing up for yourself is an act of courage, not selfishness. The tears that come aren't from pain or loss. They're recognition tears of being truly seen. Later, alone on my balcony, I open my journal. The fountain pen glides across the page. Sometimes the hardest lesson is learning that protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. The people who truly love you want you to have boundaries. The ones who don't need them. I close the journal as stars appear above the city lights. The chapter feels complete. Your worth isn't measured by what you give to others, I whisper to the night, but by what you refuse to let them take from you.